What's going on, everybody? Chase with iDub Hockey here in Calgary with none other than Dan Rich, Sherwood's Product Development Manager. Dan, we have some of the sweetest looking sticks I've seen in a long time because it combines modern day technology with vintage classic looks. Now, these are not sticks that we'd find in your closet or even my dad's closet at home. These are high powered machines here. We're gonna talk a lot about tech and spec for each of these models, but let's just talk about your key goals for coming out with this vintage PMP line.
When we first took control of the Sherwood brand in 2018, we knew that we had so much heritage and so much history associated with the brand. We certainly didn't want to lose that, and we wanted to take advantage of that. But also at the same time, you want to reach out to the new modern day consumer, but you can't turn your back on the old school. So it was important knowing, if you do any research and look at the National Hockey League in the 70s and in the 80s, you will see Sherwood being the predominant product used at that time. So we chose 3 distinct iconic models and took those graphics and applied them to our modern day technology and our modern day builds to be able to offer a limited edition series.
And for the gear nerd in me, let's start with the PMP X9950 because I want to talk about level of play here. Again, you've already kind of lightly touched on it, but in terms of level of play, who did you build this stick for?
So this is, built just shy of a 400 gram mark. This is a true elite level product. If you wanted to compare it to our other models, this would be a low kick, second price point. So if you think of the Morph One that we'll introduce this summer, that product is essentially what's under the hood of this product. And the interesting part about it is we have players at the National Hockey League level that are using this shaft dimension and this construction in other graphics, if you will, but that's a true custom build for those players. This allows you to get a true vintage graphic. The PMP X9950 was an iconic product that was used in the 80s and even early 90s for that matter. And we brought back the graphic with a slight tweak by adding some foil and put it on a true, what we call an NHL spec product. So you're getting an elite level player, somebody who wants that level of play, that quality of product, but they want it in a good vintage look.
And you mentioned the foil here too. You take a close look at it, kind of has a wood grain feel to it too, so no detail was left unturned here. But I do want to talk about one more thing before we move on to the 7000 here. You mentioned that this is a low kick stick, but it doesn't look like it has that ETS shaft shape. Can you maybe expand on that a little bit more too? Because I'm sure there's a lot of gear nerds like myself that are really interested about that combination.
So in order to achieve, it's not in the shaft shape, achieving low kick is simply making sure you're refining the layup of the product, right? So getting that construction, knowing that we've got the bill of materials for the Morph One and applying it in this shaft dimension does require some slight modifications because you don't have the 3 distinct varying zones. So we're still achieving that low kick, but simply by modifying parts of the layup, if you will. Again, still arriving at the same weight, still arriving at the same balance point, and able to do it actually in low kick. So yeah, there's some engineering that goes along with it, but at the same time, we wanted something that was a more traditional shape with a traditional graphic or an old school graphic with a new twist to it.
Right.
So adding the foil, but all the black is actually just visible raw carbon fiber as opposed to adding weight with an extra paint.
Right. That's what I'm just excited about. You explained it so well. It's a limited edition graphics package, but you really think about it, limited edition specs package too, because this isn't something that you see in the current Morph line.
Correct.
But, I mean, we've given this one so much praise, can't leave out the PMP 7000. Just an absolute beauty. Let's talk about level of player and then a couple of the key specs you're really enjoying and finding at this price point.
Again, low kick offering, which we find is a larger portion of the marketplace as opposed to the hybrid kick, right? So we wanted to put it somewhere that would be suitable for more consumers. Then we needed to obviously position it in a price point that was going to be below the 9950. So we took an iconic graphic. Again, look through the 70s, 80s, and early 90s, you'll find the 7000 very, very prevalent at the National Hockey League level. Lots of athletes in those old trader cards you'll find using the 7000. And we wanted to put it on a price point that made sense for that recreational player or that player moving to performance sticks for the first time, without having to bite the bullet on a big ticket, they can do it in here. So you're getting the equivalent of our Morph 2 product, if you will, from a build perspective, in a low kick option, but again, in that traditional shaft dimension and the old school throwback graphics.
And you say like 415, 420 grams in a senior,
correct.
75, okay?
Yep, in that range.
And there's one Easter egg I can't pass up, is the blade construction here as a nod to the past. Let's talk a little bit about this before we move on to the 5030.
If you look closely, you'll see the black stringer lines, if you will. When this stick was in its heyday, the 7000, it was a wood blade, obviously, wood shaft, but a wood blade, and then it had black carbon fiber stringers run through to add additional stiffness, torsional stiffness, and stability. It was a really cool element in the design and development of that stick at that era, and our graphic artist likes to hide Easter eggs in our designs occasionally, and added that to the element. I think it's a nice little lean back to our era back in the 80s, but it's again, it's a very functional, modern day technology with a little bit nod to history.
And then not a subtle nod is the graphics package in the 5030. Let's talk about level play and then maybe a couple key specs for that more recreational player as well.
So anyone who knows Sherwood Hockey knows that we still to this day sell a lot of the 5030 wood product. PMP 5030 has been a staple of our brand. It's still one of the only true premium wood product that you can get in the industry, and we're very happy about that. So that continues, but we wanted to draw on that in this family and complete that family in the composite construction. So we are developing a throwback 5030 graphic that would have a similar tone and appearance to what that raw wood construction is in the 5030. And we're positioning it at a more of an entry-level composite stick, be in line with our T60, T70 range. So again, that recreational entry-level beer leaguer, if you will, great pond hockey stick, and then it really complements the family where you can go modern day composite, but in an old school 5030 graphic, you can jump to 7000 and get performance, and then you can go actually high end if you wish and get the PMP X9950.
Beautiful, Dan. Well, just a 10 out of 10 across the line on all three price points, bringing just such an iconic look with modern day technology. So again, just hats off to you and the team for a great execution on these.
It's nice to lend back to history and actually capitalize on the equity that the Sherwood brand had for all those years, knowing that we're having a lot of success right now with our elite level product and our elite level athletes. This is a nice little side project that'll be limited edition, and I think we'll have a lot of success.
For sure. Well, Dan, as always, thanks so much for having us out here and walking us through the new vintage line.
Thank you.
And for you at home that want to check out the entire catalog from Sherwood Hockey, make sure you head over to inlineandicewarehouse.com.